This morning we have another question for the Ask the Pastor in the Chair, and once again we drop back down to 5 cents. We got to get up to 15 cents. I don't know how we're going to do that.
Oh, you'll get 5 cents worth.
Okay.
That's what you get.
Yeah, let's see what we get 5 cents. Someone give us
right.
another good question for this week, and here's the question.
All right. I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
If there is not a spot where God is not, sound familiar?
Yeah.
Okay.
We say that.
Why does God allow bad things to happen?
I don't know. Okay. So tune in next week for the next.
That's 5 cents worth. Okay.
That's what you get for a nickel. No, I mean that's the question of the ages, right? That's what everyone asks. If the philosophical presumption is that if God is good and doesn't correct all the evil and pain and suffering in the world, then God must not be all-powerful. Or if God is all-powerful and doesn't correct all the pain and suffering and evil in the world, then God must not be good, but God must not be all-loving and all-compassionate. And so that's the conundrum. We find ourselves experiencing this omnipresence. We find ourselves in the presence of mystery. We find ourselves communing with it, knowing that we are somehow part of this one universal, never-ending life, and we bow before this mystery. We are humbled by this mystery. We are called to into ecstatic joy and profound peace and radical hope because of this worship. And we see that terrible things happen. And we know there have been times that we have prayed fervently and the earth shook and the miracles just rained down from heaven, and times that we've prayed as fervently and the results were disappointing. And so how? Why? Why is that? Why? That's always the question. And I can only answer for me. If all the philosophers and theologians of the world haven't come up with a satisfying answer that one size fits all yet, I'm not going to be the one. But I can tell you what I've come to for me. And that is that there really are things that God can't do by God's self. When we say that God is omnipotent, when we say that God is all power still has to have a conduit to flow through. God is all power, but we are God's hands. We are the embodiment of God's love. And so there really are just things by God's self that God can't do. We need God. As religious people, we feel that we need God. But it's a relationship, it's symbiotic. God also needs us. And so when we see human evil in the world, that isn't God's job to fix. God is the love and the compassion and the impetus that we have for us to engage it, for us to make things better. And so I don't think that God can do it by God's self. That's why we're here. But God and us together are still working on it, and just because we haven't done it yet doesn't mean that things aren't getting better and better, and that they won't continue getting better. And so, yes, I believe God is all power, but I also believe that power needs a conduit to flow through, and that's us. So when we see things aren't going quite according to plan, maybe that's a challenge for us to step up our game.
All right, is that your final answer? Okay. Well, thank you for the question, and thank you for the answer.